What is going on, everybody? It is another Pop Culture Crisis movie review. This time, we are getting into it about the movie Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet. My name is Brett, and I'm here with my traditional podcast co-host.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Yes, we watched Wonka last night. It is a prequel to the other Willy Wonka movies. It's the origin story of Wonka. I saw on Rotten Tomatoes, it calls it a sweet spin on the classic character while still leaving room for the source material's darker undertones. What are those dark undertones exactly?
Okay, so one of my favorite memes of all time is this meme that says, like, the magic behind Gene Wilder's Wonka is that you actually believed he would let those kids die in the chocolate factory. So,
yeah.
But here's the thing: there is one of the things that was actually a bit refreshing for this, if you're a parent looking to take your kid to this movie, is it's not dark. It's unbelievably kind of for the lack of better words, candy-coated sweet. It's just,
I'm not sure that's a good thing, though, because I felt this was a total... I get that it's an origin story, okay, but I felt it was a total departure from who we know Willy Wonka to be, which is he's kind of a smartass. He's like kind of a prick, you know? And maybe it's showing the origin story that like he treats the snobby rich kids badly because they're spoiled brats, but he likes Charlie, so he treats him well, and he goes through this like class struggle unironically. Well,
there's more of that in this film, but
he moves to the big city, right? Because he has dreams of becoming this top chocolatier, and then he realizes that the city is run by these three chocolate moguls who are working in cahoots. They have a chocolate cartel, a chocolate mafia, and they're running a monopoly, and they have a giant basin of chocolate underneath the cathedral that they use to pay off the cops.
Yes. So what's funny about this film to me, like, okay, so I'll give forewarned is forearmed, right? So when we go to movies, one of the things that I point out a lot is like my mood beforehand can definitely affect how I interpret a film, and I was not in the best mood when I went to this movie, and I think that might have colored, like, I don't imagine I would ever watch this again, but I think this is a movie for kids anyways, right? But my biggest issue with this movie was that it felt, my critique was that it felt unbelievably manufactured. It felt like it had all of these elements that are supposed to be what is considered like sweet, and but it's manufactured sweet. It's Hollywood sweet. It's Hollywood cute in a lot of ways, and it doesn't work, and I think the CGI is a big part of that. Well,
what was the girl's name? Noodle?
Yes. It's Noodle, manufactured charm is the word I'm looking for. So it's manufactured charm. They
tried to incorporate this little girl's origin story as well into a movie that is supposed to be about Willy Wonka, and never did they get me to care about who this girl was or why she was orphaned or any of her history or past. I didn't care, and it felt like also another departure from what this movie was supposed to be about.
There is a level of fake charm to this movie that I think is inherently because of the CGI. So this entire town square that you spend most of the movie in is not really a set. It's a very large, vast green and blue screen environment, which made it impossible for me to really connect with what I'm watching. Right? Like, I feel like if I was looking at physical sets, the charm that's trying to be extracted and pushed into the viewer would have worked better. And Timothée Chalamet, in my opinion, he doesn't have the charm to play the character.
Well, he also has, he started out doing musical theater, right? Yeah. So that's his history. And I didn't think, this reminded me why I hate musicals so much. I really don't enjoy musicals. But that's what his expertise is supposed to be. And I didn't think he pulled it off well. And I didn't think his singing was that great.
None of the songs had any sort of resonance.
No catch.
Like I dreaded it every time the music came back on.
Yes.
I was not looking forward to the music.
It also just felt like lots of trailer scenes put together.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Well, I think that's a side effect of being part of something that's completely constructed through CGI, is you can construct a CGI scene that's going to feel like something you'd see in a trailer. Also, the guy who plays like the head cartel member of the head chocolate cartel member, I felt like that would have been a better character. It was Slugworth, Mr. Slugworth. I feel like the actor's name was Patterson Joseph. I feel like that role was actually designed for someone like Giancarlo Esposito, but I don't think Giancarlo Esposito, I don't know if he sings, so I don't know if he really would have been able to do that, right? So I don't know how much of these was audio dubbing, if all of these actors had a past in musical theater or anything like that.
Actually, the musical scenes made me feel the same way I felt watching Jill Biden's Christmas White House video.
Yeah, I mean that
just dread.
You saw it right before. Look, there's interesting themes in this movie, but it's not really a movie for adults. It's a movie for kids. So there's themes of like business, starting a business, entrepreneurship. There's themes of corruption and addiction that are actually prevalent in this movie. So
addiction?
Yes, Keegan-Michael
addiction
Key's,
to chocolate.
Keegan-Michael Key's character is a corrupt cop who needs more chocolate, so he does increasingly bad things on behalf of the chocolatiers.
Okay.
It's there. It's there.
I guess you could imagine that.
There. It's absolutely there. But the problem is that you just don't connect with any of these characters, so it doesn't really work. And the whole time I was watching this movie, the tone felt flat to me. Like none of the big moments. Like you get a couple of big moments. You get the big moment where he tries to finally launch the chocolate shop, and it fails because it's been sabotaged.
Okay, I was asleep for that.
Okay, you get the big moment where he's sent away by the chocolate cartel, and the ship blows up, which basically starts Act 3. Right? And none of it felt like it had any sort of resonance to me. The whole tone of the film fell flat. And I really do believe, and I'm going to keep harping on this, the fact that you're living in a make-believe world that doesn't have any semblance of reality in physical form, meaning that most of what you're looking at is CGI. It just doesn't work in the way that it would back in the day.
How was the 2005 Willy Wonka received with Johnny Depp?
People
because that had tons of CGI. Yes, obviously the original did not.
But people don't care. People care about Gene Wilder's Wonka. They don't care. Like from all of the comments when I posted about this on Twitter was people saying Gene Wilder is the only Wonka. Hated the 2005 one. And to be fair, this isn't the same story over again. This is an attempt at a prequel, and the member berries are there, but maybe not as bad as like an MCU movie. You get the golden ticket at the end, right? But to me, it felt like on all levels, the only thing that really stuck out to me as good was the fact that I would like to see more movies that had a little bit of charm for kids without a whole ton of agenda in this. I didn't see a lot of that in this movie, so that's good. Again, knowing that I'm not the target audience. But also the other thing was like I enjoyed the costuming. I thought the costuming was good, which is why I think that if you had prepared that with practical sets, it could have worked a whole ton better.
Did you think so?
Much of the movie is so disassociative.
I looked closer at Wonka's hat, and it looked like it was made of paper mache, or like you buy it at Spirit Halloween. It had the same wrinkle in it the entire time. I don't know. I didn't really notice the costuming.
I enjoyed the costuming quite a bit in this movie, but that's like you need sets, and you need costuming, and you need all of these elements that help you buy into this world, right? And to be fair, in the world we live in now, where you have these magical elements, where he's doing all of this fantastic stuff, the stuff in the scene where he is showing everyone the chocolate in the shop, right? Where with the trolley and the what is it, it's like a bridge that goes up to the roof or whatever, like that stuff has to be done CGI. But the front of it, like everything in that town square, is just one large green screen, and so much of the movie takes place there. Why couldn't you have spent the money and constructed a set that actually did that?
Let's get to Hugh Grant as the original Oompa Loompa.
Thoughts?
Because obviously they were trying to avoid hiring someone with dwarfism for this role. That is obviously what they were doing. And in order to kind of get ahead of the criticism for that, they made him literally the size of a baby. Like
I had no problem with him in this role. I thought he was the only part that felt authentic.
I didn't mind his character. I'm just saying, like, it didn't look like an Oompa Loompa at all, which was intentional, so that they could avoid controversy over hiring someone with dwarfism, obviously.
But his portrayal, his very, very dry British wit works for this movie, actually.
I guess.
Like, okay, well, here's the reason why, right? So all the other bad guys in the movie, like the innkeeper and the guy who works for her and the chocolatiers, they're all very over the top because they have to be. It's musical theater, right? They're projecting. They're talking in a way that sounds like they're in an actual theater troupe. They're projecting their voice so that whoever the hell's in the back of the theater can hear them. Right? Mm-hmm. So when he's giving his more dry and monotone British humor, it's actually a nice departure from everything else that I'm seeing in it. And I actually really, really enjoyed his scenes probably the most. But again, I just don't think, and this is just me personally, I do not think that Timothée Chalamet was able to carry this movie in the way that needed to be carried with the physicality of the character and the way, because like right when you see at the beginning of the movie, when he hops off the top of the truck and he basically slides down like a light pole or something like that. Like, and it's supposed to be reminiscent of what happens in the original, where he looks like he's about to fall and he flips over, and there's all this physicality to the character, and I just don't think with his slight frame, it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
Like, and so that I did not care about the.
I just don't get why he's such a nice guy. Well, like Willy Wonka isn't a nice, friendly human character.
Well,
he's supposed to be quirky and off-putting and kind of a dick.
We change as we get older, right? So maybe perhaps it's that.
It's his villain origin story is really. No, I don't see him as a villain, but his personality was not anything like what it was in Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I don't think that. Here's the thing, though. Like, if you're an adult and you're going to see this and looking for like a worthy prequel to what was this Gene Wilder one? I think it was 71, or it was in the 70s, I think. Like, if you're looking for a worthy prequel to that movie, I don't think you're gonna get it. But if you're looking for a movie to take your kids to that is corporate charm and something that they might be able to spend, and it's under 2 hours, which is always a good thing. Like, if you're looking for something with a little bit of corporate charm to take your kids to over the holidays to get out of the house for a while, it might not be the worst idea, but I would never go see this again.
I don't think that kids even care about the source material, so it's really for nostalgia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, the idea would be parents who love the original bringing their kids to see this, thinking it's going to line up with that. But the kids won't have the baggage that the parents have, right? So they might like it for a different reason. I don't think that that's the worst idea. If you're an adult and you love the Gene Wilder one, or even if you love the Johnny Depp one, I don't think this movie is really worth your time for the most part.
I think it was just... I like nothing about the movie. Do you agree with me about Noodle as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, like
didn't give a crap about her origin story
I don't
any
think
of that.
The actress was well cast. If that's her singing, she did fine. She did fine singing, even though I didn't like the songs in the movie. But I don't think she was well cast for the movie. I think there should have been, if they were going to make her a more prominent character, they needed to make the story between her and Slugworth more prominent earlier on. They hinted at it a few times, and then it becomes sort of a major part of Act 3. It needed to be more important throughout the story rather than just touching on it. But they keep the focus on Chalamet because he's the star of the movie. And again, like, to me, when I think back to really what the core root of so much of Hollywood's problem is right now, if you're doing superhero movies and you're looking for action, I still hate the idea of using a whole crap ton of CGI. It's not my favorite. I don't like it. There's a reason I liked The Creator over most of the other movies that came out this year, especially Marvel movies, because there was less blue screen and green screen. I'm having trouble talking today. There was less blue screen and green screen. It's a hard one to say.
Yeah.
But the CGI felt like was in world because he went out and filmed physical locations to do it. And it's very hard to capture.
If it's a musical, it's supposed to be reminiscent of watching it live. With that, Broadway has all these moving sets that are intricate and interesting to look at.
Yes.
And it didn't have that.
So like not having that, it makes it harder for someone to connect. Like I said, I don't think that other people might have that same hang up. But to me, I look at a world that feels very, very modern because of the CGI, and it destroys the timeless nature of what the story is supposed to really tell. So if you are going to see it based on a love of the earlier films, of the two films, the Gene Wilder one or the Johnny Depp one, I would say skip it. If you have kids and you're just looking to get the hell out of the house for 2 hours and you love the original, your kids won't have the baggage that you have on that film, so you may find that they enjoy it. I don't know. I do have to ask you before we go, how did you feel about the portrayal of the Catholic Church?
Oh, like there's a corrupt cleric and all of these chocoholic monks that are covering up for the chocolate mafia. It was whatever. I mean, I wasn't offended by it as a Catholic.
It was very interesting. See, that was one of the places where, like, because they had a physical set for what is that called? The confessional. Like, that actually worked because, I mean, it goes into a CGI set, but those sets there, that actually worked, and it felt like I connected a little bit more there. If they could have actually made the outside of these buildings an actual place rather than one large green screen, I think it could have been better. So, guys, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of Wonka, and we'll be back with more Pop Culture Crisis movie reviews soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.